The last call. The neon glow of the diner sign flickered against the inky blackness of the highway. Inside, the place was nearly empty, save for a young waitress named Clara wiping down tables and an old man nursing his coffee in the corner booth. The clock above the counter ticked past midnight. Clara sighed. Another slow night. She was about to close up when the door creaked open and a man stepped in. He was tall, his face obscured by the shadow of his hoodie. His boots thudded against the tiled floor as he walked to the counter. Coffee. Black, he muttered, not looking up. Clara nodded and poured the coffee, her fingers brushing the pager clipped to her waist. She didn't need it anymore. The diner was in the middle of nowhere, and hardly anyone came by, but it was a habit she hadn't shaken since her days as a volunteer firefighter. As the man sipped his coffee, Clara noticed his hands were trembling. His nails were grimy, and there was a dark smudge on the sleeve of his hoodie. Blood? She shook off the thought. Not her business. The man glanced around the diner, his eyes lingering on the old man in the corner. Then he pulled out his phone and typed something. Clara tried not to stare, but her curiosity gnawed at her. Everything okay? She asked cautiously. He didn't answer. Instead, his phone buzzed. He read the message, stood abruptly, and tossed a crumpled bill onto the counter. Keep the change, he said, his voice tight. He was halfway to the door when two men burst in. Both were in dark suits, their expressions cold and menacing. Sam, one of them said, addressing the man in the hoodie, "You've got something that belongs to us." Sam froze, his hand inching toward his pocket. "I don't know what you're talking about." The man in the suit smirked. "Don't play dumb. Hand over the drive, and we'll make this quick." Clara's heart raced. She glanced at the old man who was now watching intently, his hand gripping his coffee cup. Sam didn't move. Instead, he bolted toward the back exit. The suited men gave chase, their heavy footsteps echoing through the diner. Clara hesitated for a moment before grabbing her pager and following. The alley behind the diner was dimly lit. Sam was cornered, clutching something small and metallic in his hand, a USB drive. "Last chance," one of the men growled, pulling a gun. Clara's pager let out a sharp beep, drawing everyone's attention. She froze, holding her hands up. "Wait," she blurted. "You don't have to do this." The gunman sneered. "Stay out of it, lady." Before Clara could respond, the old man from the diner appeared behind them. In one swift motion, he disarmed the gunman and knocked him out cold. The second man lunged, but the old man was faster, pinning him to the ground. Sam stared wide-eyed. Who are you?" The old man stood, dusting off his hands. "Let's just say I don't like loose ends," he turned to Clara. "Call the cops." As Clara fumbled with her phone, the old man picked up the USB drive from Sam's trembling hand. "Whatever's on this," he said, "it better be worth it." Sam nodded, his voice barely a whisper. "It is. It's evidence, proof of everything they've done." The distant sound of sirens grew louder. The old man handed the drive back to Sam. "Make sure it gets to the right people." By the time the police arrived, the old man was gone, leaving Clara, Sam, and two unconscious men in the alley. Later, as Clara locked up the diner, she couldn't shake the feeling that the old man wasn't just a random stranger. She glanced at the corner booth where he'd been sitting. On the table was a single coin, glinting under the fluorescent lights, a military challenge coin, engraved with the words Semper Fi. The diner felt quieter than ever.